Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Paradigm. We're here live with a very special guest today. It's Paul Keely. Thank you so much for coming over to our show, Paul. It's great to have you on the show, and I'm super excited to actually hear about all these different organizations that you're a part of. Wears many hats, actually. He is a board investment committee member at Oraseya Capital, board member at TradeLink, and CFO at DS. So to kick things off, please tell us a little bit about yourself and how do you manage to juggle all these different roles and jobs at once, Paul?
Hi, Amina. Thank you very much for the invitation and for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. So yes, I'm the CFO of DIESA, which is Dubai Integrated Economic Zones Authority. And I do have another couple of hats. So I also sit on the board of Oraseya Capital, which is the Middle East's most active venture capital fund. And I'm on the investment committee for Oraseya Capital, and I'm also a board member for TradeLink, which is a leading e-commerce platform in the region.
Perfect. So tell me, where did all this start for you? I suppose you were born and raised in the UK, right? So let's start from there.
That's right.
Your background.
So I'm from Bolton, near Manchester in the UK. I'm a chartered accountant. But I think I've had quite an adventurous career for a chartered accountant. I've always had a strong desire to travel and to explore the world. And in my early career, I spent probably over 50% of my time traveling to different countries, doing assignments. I lived in Switzerland, so I found myself working for Glencore in Switzerland. I was transferred to Colombia. I spent 5 years working in Colombia. Had an amazing experience there. Really personally and professionally developed. It was a large infrastructure project, mining, rail, port construction. So a nationally significant project. I learned Spanish while I was out there. I learned to live in a different culture.
Always good to know Spanish.
Yes, exactly.
Muy bien.
Gracias. And yeah, really had a fantastic experience. Then I spent some time in the United States. So I did some private equity work in the US. And then for the last 7 years, I've been here in Dubai, working mainly for energy logistics company with a focus on Africa. And then more recently, as the CFO of DS.
Amazing. And I suppose it's very important to learn how to be agile and adaptable, and changing countries does help a lot because you just get placed into a new environment and you have to know how to find your way through it. So I suppose it gives that extra, credit to you as you get As you get older. It's the experience is something that you can't really explain to people that haven't moved so much, right?
Exactly. I think probably the first one is the most difficult, that you step outside your comfort
100%.
zone, and then every time becomes a little bit easier. And you get used to packing at first the suitcases, and then
I can imagine.
container, and each relocation you seem to have a little bit more stuff. But
right.
Very.
It's just become part of your life that's just so normal, right?
Exactly. I'm very, very fortunate to have a career that's allowed me to travel and experience so many different countries.
Amazing. Yeah, it's definitely great to travel around and learn different things about all these cultures. But I have to ask you, do you find yourself, playing similar roles in shaping all of these strategies and decisions across the different organizations that you work with now?
So in terms of the strategy at DS, it's very interesting organization that we have a portfolio of quite varied different business units and investments. The principal operations of DS are their free zones. So we operate, and we're the authority for those 3 free zones. Recently announced some financial information that in 2024, there was 336 billion dirhams worth of trade going through those 3 free zones, which is almost 100 billion US dollars.
That's incredible.
And that constitutes 14% of Dubai's non-oil foreign trade. So the free zones are a huge strategic asset for the government of Dubai, and a huge part of the economic strategy for the long term. And a pillar of the D33 economic agenda, in which Dubai is, the objective is to double the size of the economy by the year 2033.
So tell me specifically more about DS, because I feel like we've been jumping from topic to topic because you do have a lot of hats, as we said. So
Yes.
if we focus a little bit on DS now, from what I understood, you guys are an enabler for entrepreneurs. and it's definitely a very important role to have here in the region. So if you can tell me a little bit about Diez, and at the end of the day, why, in your opinion, investing in early stage, tech companies is so important.
Yes, absolutely. So Diez has been investing in early stage tech companies for over 13 years. But over the last few years, that has become more formalized and a bigger focus through the formation of Oraseya Capital, which is our venture capital arm. So Diez is the owner of Oraseya. It's a subsidiary. And we've made over 40 investments in tech startups over the past few years. And we introduced the startups into the ecosystem of the free zones. And Tradeling is a separate subsidiary, so that is also owned by Diez, and that is a e-commerce business-to-business platform. So as well as the free zones, we have the venture capital, the e-commerce, and some
And I
other
suppose
interests.
Tradeling, which is the e-commerce, is the last in line, is the one that basically acquires, right? The tech companies
Exactly.
once you guys
That's-
decide to invest in them, right?
Yeah, that's a substantial business, the
Okay.
trading business. So Arasia is really where we focus on the startups. So we make either direct investments or through our sandbox program, which is an accelerator. So we're currently running cohort 7 of the sandbox program. I think we got close to 1,000 applications from startups to be considered. We have a very rigorous selection process, and then the final close to 20 get invited to an 8-week-long program in which we provide diagnostics for the business. We look at the fundamentals, we evaluate the founders, we provide them with mentorship and governance recommendations, and then towards the end of that program, we will make investments in some or all
Incredible.
of those startups.
Incredible. I wanted to dig deeper into obviously startups and founders and everything. You did say that you guys evaluate startups and pick and choose which ones you invest in and everything. So if you can just start from the very beginning, how do you get to the startup? Do they come to you? Do you reach out to them? And then the whole process that happens after?
Sure, absolutely. So we generate deal flow in a variety of different ways. So some startups will come to us. They will approach us either in person or through the website, oraseyacapital.com. And we also have a network with other co-investors. So we will frequently meet with other firms in the region, and sometimes we will collaborate and co-invest on a deal, or sometimes we'll refer potential deals from to one another. So yeah, there's a variety of ways that we can come across startups. And in terms of the evaluation, so we have 2 objectives. So there has to be a strategic objective to create potentially globally competitive technology companies. And also we want to make a financial return on our investments as well. So we consider startups, they must have some kind of a nexus or some kind of a link to the UAE. But we do consider startups from other countries that are looking to relocate to the UAE, or that have a product that or a service that could be
Amazing.
used in the UAE. In terms of what we look for, as well as a solid business plan, fundamentally we're investing in people. So the founder is the most important part at the pre-seed and the seed stage is where we're looking to invest. So we look for founders that are passionate about their industry, that have the knowledge and they're subject matter experts. In the tech field, there's a huge amount of AI companies at the moment that are startups that are really looking to transform whole industries. So anything where we see a startup that is globally scalable and with a founder who has the passion and the tenacity to succeed, then
Right.
that's what we look to back.
Does age matter?
No, I don't think it does. No. We
Okay.
we have from
Because I always
a full
wonder,
range
would
of
you
age.
rather pick someone that's young and has that motivation and has those crazy ideas and is super into it, or somebody that has, 30 years of experience in tech and knows what they're doing and knows where to invest? And it's always been a debate in my head. What would an investor rather pick, somebody that's young or somebody that has experience in it?
I think as long as the founder has the hunger and the passion, then age is irrelevant.
It's just a number, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
interesting. And you guys focus only on tech, from what I understood, right? Mostly.
Primarily on tech.
Okay.
Yes. We do have a couple of portfolio companies that are less tech focused, but fintech is a huge area.
Of course.
And prop tech as well. We have some prop tech investments, digital platforms. So yeah, most of the portfolio has a tech focus, and that's certainly where we see the greatest potential returns.
Right. And I suppose that AI to you now is definitely a substance rather than a hype at this point, right?
Absolutely. We're seeing some really impressive products that are being developed, and with real world use cases. So yeah, we absolutely believe that AI is the future, and both through our own investments and through our own internal processes and projects within the authority, we're looking to integrate AI at every level of the organization.
Right. And I feel like you do have that crack in the window a bit to see the future, because you do deal with a lot of people that are potentially going to write out, the next 10, 20 years for us when it comes to technology, if not more.
That's right. And at Dubai Silicon Oasis, we've had some great kind of first as well. So in terms of drone deliveries and autonomous deliveries.
That one's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that one.
We're really creating an ecosystem and an area where companies can invest with a long-term view and research and develop trial products and services and roll them out to the Silicon Oasis community, and then hopefully to the wider city.
Amazing. Is there something that you're super excited about? A recently acquired, startup that you guys have that you really like the idea or the product? Do you have like a special story?
Yeah, I mean, our biggest success to date is there's a company called Writer, which is a generative AI company that Diaz invested in several years ago, and they've since moved to the US, and that has become I believe a unicorn in the Silicon Valley parlance, so valued at over $1 billion. So that's a huge success story. And that was a locally founded business.
Perfect. Now tell me, since you have all these startups acquired, how do you actually integrate them into the ecosystem? Because I suppose there's a lot of challenges in that, and it's not easy, right?
Yes. So we have close to 70,000 companies registered in our free zones as our customers who we license. So that's a huge potential market for any of our startups. So we have various initiatives where we look to introduce our startups and their offerings to our free zone customers. A good example of that recently in Dubai Commerce City, one of our startups that we've invested in is called Zena. They're a fintech that provide payment solutions to the SME market. A lot of our tenants in Dubai Commerce City are SMEs who sometimes struggle to get access to the full banking solutions that they need. So we hosted a collaboration day between Zena and the SMEs for Zena to hopefully acquire more customers and more clients, and for our other participants to be able to use their services and get
Very
access.
Nice of you.
So yeah, a win-win is what we're looking
for. Exactly. But now that you say, fintech companies and payment solutions, I've just got back from Saudi, and we were there at the Money 2020 conference, and I saw over, I think, 3,000, 4,000 booths that were doing payment solutions.
Wow.
So my question for you is, how do you become different? Everybody was doing a very similar thing, I think. It's not as if that I went from booth to booth and I learned something new. And it's just so difficult because you see all of these new companies out there on the market believing that they're going to succeed. Do you think there's space for everyone? Do you think that there's that much demand for such companies? Or do you think there's a specific thing, that will make 10% of them unique and they're going to succeed?
It's a good point. I think there will be a kind of natural selection process in that only the strongest.
It's normal, right?
Yeah, only the strongest of these companies, either in terms of the technology they have or the network or the backing, will succeed. Unfortunately, not all will, I'm sure. But we're also seeing a wave of digital transformation across the whole industry. So there's a huge amount of innovation in the fintech space. A lot of these companies are specialists in a particular niche of the payment system globally is such a huge market that there is room for significant improvement and technology as we move to a digital infrastructure. But yes, what we're trying to do is identify and back the strongest and the winning
And it helps them a lot to have an organization like Oraseya as support, right?
Yes, it really does. As a shareholder, we're highly supportive of our startups. We provide mentorship and governance, and we have the backing of the financial backing of an entity such as Diaz. But with the Oraseya team operating on an independent basis, they also are able to take the kind of venture capital type approach to supporting these startups. So it's a good combination of government backing with a venture capital mindset.
And would you say government backing funds are becoming, more and more important in venture capital?
Yes, I would, and we're seeing a shift in the nature of the government government investment from historically a passive investment perspective towards a full enabling of a startup ecosystem. There's recently been an announcement by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed that for the Emirates to be the startup capital of the world.
I saw, yes.
That's the.
It was all over the place. Yeah.
That's the initiative. So
we're here at Entrepreneurs, super happy.
Exactly.
We're going to write a lot of stories on startups. Yeah.
So that will back the Emirati youth to start up their own entrepreneurial ventures, as well as hopefully attracting talent and investment from around the world to the Dubai startup scene.
Do you fear Gen Zs and Gen Alphas that are all going to be entrepreneurs eventually? And it's just such a different generation, isn't it? I feel like everybody just wants to have their own thing and their own freedom.
Exactly.
Freedom of their life, of their professional life, of their speech, being open on social media. I feel like times have changed a lot and entrepreneurship is becoming more and more popular. So it's great to see that there are organizations like the ones where you work in that could at least guide all of our crazy Gen Z heads into the right direction, right?
That's right. Yeah, no, I think there is a generational shift, and the historic idea of a job for life, I think, is pretty much gone, and people have side hustles and the gig economy and all that kind of thing. So yeah, we're looking to facilitate that as much as possible and drive things in a positive direction.
And I think it's great that we have so much governmental support here. I mean, even like taking into consideration AI, right? Like every time I go back to Europe, I speak about AI and people fear it. But why do they fear it? My main, I think, response to that is that they're not educated enough to understand certain things about it. And when you not know something, you fear it, right? Whereas here we have so much governmental support. We have the Ministry of AI. We use it in our daily basis, right? And the fact that we are educated well on how to use it and what are the pros and what are the cons, it just helps us be more, developed in a way than the rest of the world. So, I just feel like it's great to have the governmental support here when you compare yourselves to other countries in the world.
Yes, and I believe it's been introduced into the school curriculum as well from quite a young age in a positive sense. And actually that ties in with some of the Oraseya investments we have are in that edutech sector.
Oh, great. Okay.
So we're really looking at ways to support the education and development of children through technology and digital platforms.
That's amazing. But I suppose you do take into consideration both sides when you do things with kids, right? It's a bit challenging sometimes too.
Yes, there is a balance because the AI can support the learning process, but not replace it. I think that's possibly the risk. That's the balance that in the future we'll all have to.
That's what everybody keeps talking about as well. Like, will AI take more jobs than it creates? And it's the $1 billion question.
Exactly.
It will take time, right?
Time will tell. So, I mean, personally, I feel that a kind of a mix of human and AI management and skill set is likely to be the future. I don't think AI will completely replace the human workforce, but I think there's certain industries where I think most industries, to be honest, it will transform. But yeah, I think for the foreseeable future, we should be okay.
We should be fine. As long as we have ChatGPT next to us. You use ChatGPT, I suppose. Who doesn't, right?
That's right. Yes. Yeah, I do. I find I'm using it
assistant.
more and more. Yeah. It's incredible. The rate of progress. I think maybe 2022. So perhaps 3 years ago, I first kind of started using it on a casual basis, and just the rate of improvement and the move to images and now video, and it really is incredible the level of support that it can provide. Yeah.
And I actually had a recent podcast with the regional director of Meta, and we were talking about AI, and he told me this crazy fact, which is that if we take all the data that exists now online, 90% of it was created like in the last year and a half, which I was shocked.
Yeah.
It means that, like, at least for my entire life, since internet started, is just a 10%. Which is crazy, right?
Exponential. And I think also an interesting fact is that the take up in terms of users of AI and ChatGPT is faster than the PC, the personal computer, when it rolled out, and even the internet. So I think on a technology basis, it's the most rapidly adopted 100%. Technology in our lifetimes, and it doesn't seem to be slowing down anytime soon.
No, only speeding up. Right, but enough conversations about AI. I feel like we're keep talking about benefits and advantages and positive sides, but I do believe that there's a lot of gaps still in the momentum, especially in the ecosystem and everything. And to put AI aside, what do you think? How do you think Oraseya Capital actually fills up these gaps that we have in the ecosystem? I'm pretty sure there are challenges. I'm pretty sure there are things that still need evolving. So if you could talk to us a little bit about that, that would be great.
Yes. So we find that certainly in the MENA venture capital ecosystem, early stage funding is still a challenge for many startups. And by early stage, I mean pre-seed or seed stage funding. So that's an area where we provide. The investments we make at the sandbox level are about $150,000 each. So they're in very early stage businesses, just helping them to scale to that next level. And we find that startups also need support beyond just capital. So an injection of funds is always welcome, but they also need the mentorship and the governance structure, and sometimes the access to the network that we can also provide in terms of customers and clients.
It's what we were talking about before. I mean, you have this great idea, but you need support and you need guidance.
Exactly.
To make sure that you are on the right track, because it's so easy as an entrepreneur to get lost, and to stay focused.
Exactly.
Is not the easiest part of it, right?
Yeah, and the team at Oraseya have great experience in this. So we have people from different backgrounds, but all of them have been involved in the startup scene for many years. So they really have they've seen so many pitches and so many startups that they can really provide strong but useful advice to the founders on how to adjust their pitch, their presentation, their business model, kind of do's and don'ts to get funding. That I think that has a huge value. And I mean, really, what we're looking for is to find some more regional success stories in terms of tech businesses, either that will IPO or that will seek substantial investment. Just to attract that talent and investment into the region, and specifically into Dubai.
What do you think is missing? What would you like to see more of?
I mean, liquidity is always a challenge in the region. So that's why when we see another investment fund investing in the region, we don't, as Oraseya, we don't view that as a competition. We're happy to see people come and invest, because the more VCs and private equity that is investing in the region in the tech sector, it stimulates that ecosystem and allows funds for secondary transactions and for further growth rounds. So we're always very happy to see people come here, and the more startups and investors, the better.
And do you believe the sentence, "Your network is your net worth"?
I do. I think that that's
I feel like
excellent.
networking is the most important thing here.
Exactly. There's so much energy. It's such a vibrant startup scene that. The network, I mean, I think there's over 50 incubators and accelerators just in the UAE, and that network of talent and dynamic founders with huge plans is really what we need to grow.
And do you ever make events where you bring all of them together?
We do. There's several events actually that we do. So there's an event called the Doers Summit that in November will be hosted in Silicon Oasis. We will be hosting the World EF Summit in, I believe, February next year.
Great.
The team will be attending Slush in Finland later this year, and Web Summit in Lisbon in Portugal. So we're really
You got the list, Prav. We're
yeah.
gonna make sure to go to all of these events.
We're spreading
That's
our wings
amazing.
globally. Yeah,
That's amazing. I would love to go and cover all these events with you guys. Honestly, it sounds great. It sounds great, and you're going international as well. So
that's right.
perfect.
That's right. Yes.
But it never hit me. So you do actually have companies from abroad that come here, right? Startups from abroad. It's not
That's
just
right.
Dubai-based.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. A good example of that, Callo, one of our portfolio companies, they're from the regions. They have a Saudi and a Bahrain presence, but they're also very active in Dubai. They've recently raised a Series B round. I think it was 32, if I'm not wrong, $1 million. So,
Oh my God.
so yeah, we really do look to promote the regional business. And we have also made investments in businesses that, like I say, they have to have some kind of link to the UAE, but it could be that they have operations in the US or in Europe, etc. And as long as we like the business model and we back the founders, then we're happy for the business to be in the tech business.
Right.
Many of them are global.
As long as you see the logic behind it and where it could go.
That's right. That's right. It has to be scalable, at least on a regional level, and ideally at a global level. For it to
Have
be
you
of
ever
interest.
had a example where it failed? It didn't go by plan.
Yes,
if you're allowed to speak about it.
Yeah, I mean, I won't give kind of specific names, but in any portfolio of investments in a fund,
tends to happen,
there will be
right?
winners and losers. And obviously, at the time of making the investment, we always believed that that business will be a success. But there have been some where through either force majeure type events like COVID, for example, has just impacted businesses, or just the plan hasn't worked for whatever reason. So yes, we do. There is quite a high percentage of investments that don't turn out the way you would hope them to, but you only need a handful of winners in the portfolio to really make an excellent financial return.
Yeah, eventually, I guess you do try your best, and you can't control some situations. Maybe they're gonna have a better path for them.
Exactly.
Doing
Things don't
something
always
else,
work
you
out,
never know. Just trust God, I guess, in those situations. But I wanted to ask a little bit about Sandbox because you spoke about it previously. What kind of support does it actually give startups? Because I suppose it plays an important role in making sure that the startups that you do invest in and acquire succeed, right?
Yes. So it's a structured program. So we filter the applications very stringently to make sure that we invite the startups that we feel have the best chance of success. And then it's an 8-week long program. So we will support the founders a lot on working on their pitch, their presentation, both in terms of the content of the presentation, also the delivery. And we help them to shape their business model and their ask to have the highest likelihood of raising external finance. We will introduce them to subject matter experts in their particular tech field, and we will either invest ourselves, or if it's not an appropriate investment for ourselves, we have our network of co-investors that we can also introduce. Sometimes we'll invest together, or sometimes we'll pass across. But we provide mentorship and support to the founders on the business model, the presentation pitch, and any financial projections that they may have. And actually, so even within the cohort of Sandbox, we find that some of the founders, just because of networking and so on, they will actually sign each other up for their products or services. So that in itself becomes a mini ecosystem within the Sandbox. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great. But what would you say are the top 3 pieces of advice that you give throughout this mentorship?
The pitch, we believe that it has to clearly show the return on investment. So we have to.
Okay.
The startup has to be able to demonstrate where they add value. Why would anybody buy their product or service? It has to be a scalable business model, ideally on a global level. And I think most important of anything is the founder themselves. And they need to have a passion for their startup. They need to be fully committed to it. and have that hunger to succeed. There's a lot of adversity in taking a startup from a pre-seed through to a successful business. So we really need to see that desire and that tenacity in the founders for us to back them to go on that journey with them.
100%. And I suppose you do have like a judges table once the pitch ends, where you have your debates over the founders.
Yes,
And because I
we do.
suppose it's a personal opinion based thing, right? Maybe you would believe in a
Yes.
startup, but your coworker wouldn't. How do you deal in those situations? What do you do?
So that's what we call the investment committee. So
Okay.
there's four members of the investment committee, of which I'm one. And yeah, we will, after seeing the different pitches, we will have we will have a healthy debate. And often we will all agree yes or no, but there are times where there are differences of opinion. So we have we try to see the other one's point of view, and in the end, if one member has a strong reservation, then we often would not proceed. But there have been cases where if 3 out of 4,
You vote.
We effectively vote, and if there's a majority, then we can proceed with the investment. But we try to, if we don't all agree, we want to understand why and what are we potentially missing, the ones who are pushing ahead.
I would love to kick off a show and start this on camera. That would be so cool. Imagine the new Shark Tank.
Yes,
Here in
that's right.
Dubai.
Yeah, it has
That'd be
a
super
feel
cool.
of the Shark Tank
That'd
to
be
it.
super cool. Alrighty, Paul. Now looking ahead, when it comes to emerging technologies, when it comes to plans in your organizations, what sort of steps are you going to take in the next couple of years? What excites you the most? Anything that you could tell me about, what your future vision looks like?
Sure. I mean, I know we've already talked about this a little bit, but it's hard to look past AI. Really, the AI is absolutely transformational. We're seeing it impact almost every industry that we're exposed to across the world. In terms of our current pipeline of investments and projects, I would say at least half were either directly generative AI or at least AI related from a support perspective. So we think that's a huge opportunity to really kind of back the tech giants of the future. We also believe that fintech is a very interesting area. So there's a focus in our portfolio on that as well. So we're seeking to democratize financial services and provide opportunities and inclusion to people and companies that are not fully served by the current banking system.
And banks have to keep up with crypto and blockchain and everything that's happening, right?
Yes,
they
that's
can't
right.
just sit down and relax. They have to digitalize as well in one way or another, right?
You're absolutely right. And I'm actually studying a master's degree in blockchain
No way.
and digital currency. So I'm about halfway through that.
How's that going for you?
Great. Yeah. It's good. It's good. I'm really. It's great to be back, kind of learning again in an academic context.
I didn't know that they have courses on blockchain now. That's crazy.
I believe it's the only master's in the world. It's the University of Nicosia in Cyprus.
No way.
So yeah, they offer a full master's in blockchain and digital currency.
Wonder why it's in Cyprus. Hello, that's so funny. But that's crazy, honestly, because every time I do an interview on blockchain or crypto or anything to do with that world, I learn something new. And it changes so fast that every single time I go to Token and I do some more interviews every single season, people will be blurring out words at me that I don't know in terms that I don't know.
Exactly. And the
It's
UAE is
crazy.
absolutely at the forefront of that. Soon you can buy Emirates tickets, you can buy, petrol, gasoline,
Anything.
anything with
And you do
crypto.
kind of feel bad for banks at a certain point. Like they need to start
Yeah.
running that race, and it's not easy because they have their own traditional systems and their own hierarchies and bureaucratic,
Exactly.
paperwork and things like that. So yeah,
Yeah,
it'd be
we
interesting to see where that goes.
huge opportunities in the kind of the financial rails, or the rails of the financial system globally are being redefined as we speak. And I personally think crypto and blockchain will be a huge part of that.
You think?
Yeah, there's I think $200+ billion of stable coins issued that it's a parallel financial system to the SWIFT system, and whether that replaces or there's some kind of integration or hybrid, time will tell. But I find it hard to believe that the future of of
Finance.
finance does not involve some element
Really?
of blockchain.
Tell me one more thing, though. Obviously, working on 3 jobs is not easy, right? And I just wanted to get into some personal questions now for you. In what sort of ways do you rewind? Do you read books? Do you listen to podcasts? Do you like spending time with your family? What really makes you recharge? Because I feel like burnout is a thing, and a lot of people don't talk about it, especially founders in startups or C-level, positions. People don't talk about burnout, mental health, etc. So, do you do anything to keep up your mental health in your free time?
I do. I try to I try to kind of have that differentiation between work life and home life. And yeah, even after a very stressful day, I will either go to the gym
Okay.
or just go home. And when I open the door, I've got 2 little girls, so when they
Aw.
kind of run and give me a hug and a kiss when I walk in, then that
Makes
kind of
your day.
switches off work mind and into home. So I think it's important to have a kind of a sanctuary at home where you can relax and be comfortable. And yeah, I enjoy reading books. I like watching sport. I watch football, and is my favorite.
And you just know how to switch off the moment you enter your house. It's not like you need to.
I try to. I
Also,
mean,
yeah.
I guess given the role, I have to be available 24/7. But I think, like you say, for mental health, it is important to have work time and personal time. And Diez is
100%.
an excellent organisation to work for in that respect. That there is respect of the work-life balance, and
That's
we
great.
work very hard. We achieve a lot, but we also do have do have personal space and time to reflect.
That's great. What do you think you would have done in your life and in your professional, I think, life if it wasn't for the sector that you entered?
Um,
Were you like on the edge when you were younger that you would probably do finance, but there was also something else that you would like to do?
Yeah, I think the alternative for me would have been law. So I did a
Oh, okay.
joint bachelor's degree in business and law. So I kind
Amazing.
of had a decision point where I could either go the financial route or the legal route. And I do enjoy the kind of legal element to what I do in terms of contracts and regulation, etc.
100%.
So yeah, I think if I wasn't a CFO, I would perhaps be somewhere in the legal profession.
Oh, that's great. That's great. But it's not easy here, I guess, because we do need international arbitration, right? And
Yes.
the courts in Arabic. So there's
Well, that's
challenges
true. I
here and
would
that.
probably be on the DIFC side
Yeah,
rather than the local
probably.
side. But yeah, I think the international law and
Yeah.
corporate law, I think, is very interesting. Yeah.
Great. All right, Paul, one last question for you. I do tend to talk a lot about success with my guests, and it's because in Dubai, I feel like everybody is more successful than you. You will always find people that are successful, that are ambitious, that are, yet a lot of the times, are they happy with their life? Does money equal happiness? I tend to ask a lot of these questions, and I'm personally curious about them. So I wanted to ask you, first of all, what do you think makes you successful in the industry that you're in? And also, what would be your definition of success?
In terms of what makes me successful, I think having had that global exposure is critical. And I think certainly earlier on in your career, as a finance professional, it's important to get as much exposure as you can to global business, international business, different cultures, different industries. Always trying to learn from the people around you and the people that you're reporting to. I've had some great mentors and bosses over the years, and really kind of trying to bring all that together and to develop now that I have my own team and my own organization to really develop those people and to try and mentor the team, and always be open-minded to the future, whether it's future technology. There's a lot of things that will happen that are outside of your control, and I think you need to be flexible and adaptable in your approach and not have a one-size-fits-all mentality,
Right.
but really just try and adapt and see where the future takes you.
But I think your traveling is what helped you be like that.
I think so. I think that was a huge part of it. That having not just traveling, but I think living in different countries and different cultures really helps you view the world differently. I think money is important to answer your question, but it's not. I don't think it buys you happiness either. I think it provides you with options, which can help with happiness. But I think fundamentally, rather than chasing the money, you need to or it's advisable to focus on what you're passionate about. And I think if you're doing something that you enjoy and that you're genuinely passionate about, then the success and the money hopefully will follow.
Right, right. Yeah, of course. Money is important. It
is.
You
have to put food on the table.
It's comfort. What gets
Yes.
us comfort. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I feel like people should never overcome their materialistic happiness with their internal happiness, if you know what I mean. You know,
Exactly.
having a
Exactly.
family and having your loved ones healthy and happy around you and sharing all that success professionally that you have with them eventually, I think, is the formula, right, to being successful.
Yes,
At the end of the
that's
day.
right. And you can't take the money with you.
No, you can't. Anyways, Paul, thank you so much for this conversation today.
Thank you.
Pleasure speaking to you. We wish you the best of luck.
Likewise.
And
Thank you very much.
To many more. Thank you.
Thank you, Mina.